All our lives, we've been told to go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and you'll be set. How's that working out for you? I'm TaVona Denise, physical therapist turned life and business coach, and I'm on a mission to help you create a life you love and a business on your terms. If you want more time, more freedom, more flexibility, I can help you create it. Welcome to Breaking Protocol, the show for women in healthcare who want more. Oh my goodness, I got to get it together because my brother has been visiting me for the past few days and he just made me laugh. So, okay, now I'm being serious. Over the past few years, I have coached a number of women in business, and some take the coaching and run with it and others don't, which is uber frustrating to me because I want all of my clients to win. So I started asking myself, what is the difference between those who take off, those who stall out, and what allows me to get the results that I do in my business? And I've boiled it down to the following 10 ways of thinking and being that I want to share with you today. And this is probably not a complete list, but this is what I came up with so far. Principle number 1, it's supposed to be challenging like the gym. Entrepreneurship is the self-development course you didn't know you enrolled in. I think you will be challenged in whatever way is needed for your growth. Kind of like runners need strength training and bodybuilders need cardio. And I thought about this when I noticed some of my clients getting down on themselves because they saw other coaches making 100K in a seemingly short amount of time. But for example, I have a number of doctors in my group and they would get upset because they weren't making that amount of money. And I thought it was interesting because for them, they've already learned how to make 100K in their lives through their current profession or their previous profession, as some of them had already left their jobs. But they needed to learn motivation outside of the money because just having a goal of 100K really didn't move the needle for them in terms of motivation. So for you, what is that? Like, how is the challenge going to be for you? Do you need strength training like the runner or do you need cardio like the bodybuilder? Number 2, since there is no right or wrong way for that matter to build a successful business, you get to do it your way. The most successful people I've seen are the ones who are willing to experiment and make mistakes and not stop until they figure it out. Because the fact of the matter is, if you are building this business and you hate it the entire time, you may not make it to your goal. And so you might as well do what feels good to you. Principle number 3, make decisions and stick to them. You will be tempted, and we talked about this in a previous episode, the one that I called Inconvenient Amnesia. I don't remember the number right now, but we'll link it in the show notes. But you will be tempted to undo and forget decisions and run around in circles. That, my friend, is a surefire way to not make money and not help people. Commit to your decisions. Know your reasons for making the decision, and please be kind to yourself as you take action, understanding that fear, doubt, all of that will be there, and it's okay. Principle number 4, time is relative. What would your experience be like if you believed that you had plenty of time to reach the goal? If you had plenty of time to do what needs to be done on a day-to-day basis? One of the biggest gifts a friend gave to me was to have me imagine the end of last year. She said, imagine the end of the year. You know you've made the goal, kind of like jumping forward to the end of a movie, and you already know the result. How would you feel? What would you think about what's going on right now if you knew at the end you hit your goal? And I thought about that, and that was the biggest gift because then I didn't have to run around like a chicken with my head cut off doing the day-to-day stuff because I started to believe more that it was going to happen. So that said, when we're talking about time, if you're in this for real, what are you willing to invest for your dreams? Think about school. Most of the time we go to school for a minimum of 2 years. Some of us went way more than that and spent several $1,000s before we even thought about making a dime in the profession that we had. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen here in your business, but what I am saying is give yourself time, give yourself space, give yourself grace to get what you need, because what's the rush if you really believe that it's going to happen? Number 5, The most successful entrepreneurs get what they came for. Whenever investing in a program, they show up and do the work. Not just the work that feels good, not just the work that's easy or behind the scenes. They do the work that actually moves the needle forward. Yeah, you guessed it. It's the uncomfortable work. The work that requires you to talk to people and not sit behind the computer. Number 6, there is a difference between finding clients and signing clients. Hear me when I say that. There is a difference between finding clients and signing clients, because the truth of the matter is clients are everywhere, but you have to be willing to speak up and say, if you have this problem or this set of problems, I can help you, which requires you to be visible, to be vulnerable, to risk rejection, and to not do it so well in the beginning. Number 7, they have or are developing a positive relationship with money. Now, if you are listening to me say this and you are cringing, understand that money is a circumstance. It's neutral. We as business owners receive it in exchange for the value we're providing to the client. And this is not to be confused with the number of hours we put in or the amount of effort we put out. And I talked about this in greater detail in episode number 42. Number 8, experiment and evaluate. As you attempt things in your business, see if you can enter with an experimental mindset. One of the things that messes up a lot of entrepreneurs is that they have no parameters for success. So they're just doing a bunch of random things and switching stuff up all the time and saying it's not working. So how do you evaluate your efforts? The most simple way that I've found is to ask after everything that you do in your business, whether it's a sales consult, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a webinar, anything that you're doing that's significant to your business, ask yourself 3 questions. What worked? What didn't work? And what will you do differently next time? Principle number 9, I have found that the most successful entrepreneurs do thought work. Of every class I've taken, book I've read, coach I've worked with, the thing that has made business so much easier is thought work, which is simply the process of dumping out the contents of my mind on paper on a daily basis, or we'll say semi-daily basis, and having a look to see what thoughts, what mindset, what beliefs are affecting my results. This was literally the difference between making $40K in my business in 2019 and making $200K in 2020. And the final thing that I see the most successful entrepreneurs doing is taking action, even if you are afraid. Fear, frustration, disappointment, overwhelm, confusion, all of those emotions are just part of the human experience. They're there for a reason, but the biggest one for many people is fear. So to teach your brain to lean into the uncomfortable emotion, I use a simple technique called the courage jar, which I talked about in a previous episode. We'll link that on the show notes as well. But the gist of it is, each time you do something in your business, even though you're afraid, you get to put a marble in the jar. And doing so trains your brain to lean into the discomfort so that you can learn that the feeling, whatever it is for you, is harmless. And you teach yourself that the worst thing that can actually happen is a feeling. Because if you are willing to feel any emotion, you will be unstoppable. So if you're ready to get past the fear and be unstoppable in your business, go to TaVonaDenise.com/momentum to discover what might be keeping you stuck and how to take your business to the next level. Until next time, friend.